into the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey there, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans! Welcome to another edition of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. AfterBuzz After Show. Tonight we are talking about Season 3, Episode 8, Many Heads, One Tail.
One tall tale.
Deep.
It is. It was a
deep.
very tall tale.
Yes.
If you guys haven't already done so, please subscribe to us on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, all that fun stuff. Rate, leave a comment. We love hearing from you guys. Let me introduce my fantastic panel, Jesse Klein.
Hey everyone, how's it going? You can find me on Twitter at JessKlein1. That's JessKlein, the number 1.
Zach Wilson.
And you guys can find me on Twitter at @ZachWilson.
Hey guys, you can find me on Twitter at Joyce Ajouri.
And guys, I'm your host, Megan Salinas. You can tweet at me at @TheMenguin. That's TheMenguin. We are also going to be keeping an eye on the hashtag ABTVShield. So guys, if you have any comments that you want to throw at us, we might just give you a shout out. We'll be keeping an eye on it. And of course, we are also keeping an eye on the live chat as well on YouTube for those of you watching live.
The chat roll's already aware that there's a surprise coming later in the
How do they know?
I told people on Snapchat. I said we have a surprise. It might be funny, just saying.
It might be funny. It might also be terrible.
There's
We
a
will see.
mole amongst us.
Yeah. Leaking
What?
information.
I didn't hide it. I told you guys.
Turns out Joyce is the war.
I'm Soup's honest right now. I'm Roz.
She didn't know what was going on, guys.
Which
Maybe.
we called, by the way. At least
Maybe.
We threw it out as a possibility.
I thought, I'm going to stick by that idea that she has no idea.
That she was a patsy in all this.
Yes.
Perhaps.
That she had no idea about anything with the
Well, yeah,
with the
like
fish oil.
she
and
knew
all
a
that.
lot to an extent, and then I knew there was going to be some detail that she wasn't privy to, and lo and behold,
Yeah.
See, the problem with this is that it's so easy to believe that because we want to believe that. We want her to be good.
I don't know. I like her as a bad guy.
The ship-happy part of me really wants her to be good and wants her and Phil to work it out and kiss more and be a great couple and be a great spy power couple.
I think it's so much more interesting if they're like this romantic antagonistic force, like constantly clashing against each other. I think it's much cooler that way.
It's fascinating, and that's why we can't get excited about this, guys, because you can't open up your heart to it just yet. She still may not be trusted. This could all be part of Malik's long con.
That's a
Could be.
lesson for all of you out there. Don't open up your heart. Keep it closed and safe.
don't say that.
Keep it safe. Just don't.
Keep it closed
no.
and safe. Lock your doors. Close your windows.
Well, before
Jesse, this is not Love Line.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know. It sounds like sound advice to me. But
No,
guys,
it's not. Open your
before
hearts,
before we get started with the episode, we want to give a special shout out to one of the best fans I think we could ever have.
Oh, yeah.
Our good friend Alvin sent us these wonderful notebooks with wonderful,
So cool.
sweet messages.
They're gorgeous. I think he got them custom made by a company called Redbubble.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
And they all have personalized messages inside them. It's the coolest thing
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
sweet.
So
I
awesome.
love these.
Yeah,
So,
thank you so much, Al.
Not only did he get us awesome Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. pins, but he got us these notebooks because we're always writing notes, and so I think you guys can definitely tell that. So this was a very, very sweet gesture,
really thoughtful.
and they will be put to good use. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Alvin.
Alvin, I'd like to let you know the first note I wrote in this notebook is octopus are scary.
That's a good way to christen it.
I felt
great
like
way to
it was
christen it.
It was a good way to christen it.
Octopus are scary.
An observation, an opinion, maybe both.
Fact.
But
Fact.
delicious.
Octopus are delicious.
Delicious.
Yeah.
You know, some calamari does sound good right now, actually, not gonna lie.
That's squid.
Squid.
Is
though.
it squid, not octopus?
Yeah, they have a hard mantle.
Oh, it's takoyaki that's octopus. That stuff is real good. That stuff is great. If you guys haven't tried it,
Taco any
takoyaki.
day.
Yeah, for sure.
Bomb.
All right. Let's go ahead and get into this episode because there's a lot to unpack here. We got some really good espionage stuff in this. We got some great action sequences, and the plot moved along at a really good clip, but at the same time, I didn't feel oversaturated with stuff. Pacing, for me, felt really good. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it was a really good. The writers seem to have really stepped into their own about being able to move plot through character development this season, and so like I think that's why it doesn't feel overwhelming when things like that happen, because we were seeing the plot move, but at the same time we were getting a lot of character development, and like the characters were moving at the exact same time.
Which didn't make me miss action.
No, not at all.
No.
I still felt very compelled to watch. I didn't crave the action because I was so like, you know,
And we still-
so in tune with the show. I was like, this is everything that's happening is just as amazing as it would be if they had like fight scenes.
Yeah, this episode felt just as action-packed as any episode has ever been on S.H.I.E.L.D.
And we got rewarded with like a super sci-fi like action scene with Bobby at the end.
That was
Bobby
so
with an
cool.
Inhuman.
Yeah, Bobby fighting an Inhuman.
With crazy magnet like
Guys-
recall powers.
Guys, it reminded me of Push, which was an awesome movie with Chris Evans.
Debatable.
Debatable. I loved it. It's worth at least like seeing if you can find it, like rent it on iTunes for like $2. It's about people with superpowers and like they use telekinesis to like fight gun battles. It's really cool. It's better than Jumper. That's what I can say.
I
That's
liked
not a-
Jumper.
That's
Yeah.
not a high bar, guys.
It's. I mean,
I
it's.
liked it.
It's at least
Yeah,
an
I enjoyed
entertaining.
it.
It's an
I
entertaining
enjoyed
evening. Yeah.
I didn't enjoy either of these movies.
I never saw this one, but either way,
Push was really fun,
That
but-
scene was awesome.
Yeah.
It was.
And it looks like Bobby got herself like some Captain America magnetic baton collar backers.
Those were really
Yeah.
badass.
Yeah.
It makes sense though, like that they would have that tech. Like,
Yeah.
if they've had any information sharing with Stark, or let's face it, it's S.H.I.E.L.D., they make their own
yeah.
information sharing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're like, oh, we can call back the S.H.I.E.L.D. like that.
Yeah.
I wonder if Fitz just like fiddles for like a day and just like you know.
Boom.
Here you go.
Done.
They'll bring them back to your
Baton
hands.
gauntlets.
Yeah.
It's the best. And it was really cool because we've seen the group fight Inhumans in various forms, and this is the first time we've seen an Inhuman working for Hydra.
Yeah.
And that is a scary combination.
It seems like what we're seeing is Hydra is trying to militarize, and it's like what we've known about before, but Hydra is trying to militarize as much alien tech and as much tech as they can get, and that includes alien genetics as well, and they're trying to militarize the Inhumans, and it looks like they found one guy, telekinesis guy, and it looks, as we got at the end, it looks like they're gonna try and like create Lash into just be an anger monster, and like try and use him against S.H.I.E.L.D. as well.
Like he'd probably be their lead soldier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they said they were building an army for this Inhuman that was banished to the other world.
Yeah.
And I keep wondering to myself, who could this
Was it-
Inhuman have been?
Did they say it was an Inhuman? That okay.
They
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. Let's-
Okay.
To jump ahead, yeah.
The
Okay.
death, as we like had
Yeah.
to call him because that's all we
It.
had.
It.
It is confirmed from this
Okay,
to
an
be an
Inhuman.
Inhuman.
Okay.
I know
was-
that's a lot to unpack.
I
That's a lot to
racked my
process.
brain through all the Inhumans I could think of. None of them have powers that quite
Yeah.
work like that. So it could be. I wouldn't even mind if this is
an original,
an original character.
okay with that.
We don't do that enough.
Yeah.
I mean, S.H.I.E.L.D. has been pretty good with using original characters, with just a couple of pre-established ones built in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Jia Ying was ever a character in the comics, right?
Not that I know.
But she was a great villain.
But Hyde was.
Yeah, they've
basically
mixed them both.
Daisy, Hyde, and Mockingbird are the only non-original MCU characters that have been featured significantly.
Absorbing Man.
Well, featured significantly. I'm saying like as recurring characters.
They're all very fulfilling characters in terms of the way they develop their story. Like there's not, like you're right. I don't need to see a ton of original Marvel characters to enjoy the show.
Yeah,
They do
no,
a good
for
job.
sure. And which again, if this is an original character, this is an original character who is pretty much all but immortal because it has sustained itself on this planet for eons and eons and eons as Hydra has tried to formulate ways to bring it back.
Yeah.
And so Hydra's only plan was just sending people to appease it or serve it, I don't know, let it eat them. I don't know. It was weird. But this, whatever this thing is, I guess its ability is maybe it has a power very similar to Jia Ying's in that it can absorb other people's life essence and gains immortality that way.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people in the chat room asking about the royal family. I just want to address it since a lot of people
Go
are
right
asking.
ahead. Go right ahead.
The royal family being Black Bolt and Medusa. The fact that we have an Inhumans movie
Crystal.
on the books as of now. There's been rumors that it might be moving, in which case the royal family could easily move to TV.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what we're doing here. That doesn't seem the cards they're playing, and they want Kevin Feige wants to do the Inhumans movie, and that's the royal family.
Yeah. I mean, it would be amazing if they introduced a royal family character in this show, but I don't see it happening.
They'll introduce Eldrick.
If they'll introduce Eldrick,
What if the monolith is just Eldrick?
that would be amazing.
There's a piece of him still left that wasn't vaporized.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good that it's a new thing. I thought I didn't hear that it was an Inhuman, and I was thinking that maybe it was Red Skull, since Red Skull got banished with the Cosmic Cube in the Captain America movie, and he's been sight unseen since then, probably out there in space, being really angry for a long time.
Just sulking.
Well, now we know that whoever this has been there way
Longer than that, yeah.
than
the 40s.
World War II.
Yeah, no, the fact that they even said that, World War II,
Millennia,
that's not the origin of Hydra.
Yeah.
That's like when Hydra took its next step, but it's been it's been back for years and years and years.
This organization that's been seeking power through alien technology for years and years and years and years.
This organization, which... What do you think? What are you guys thinking at this point?
It's weird to think of Hydra being something that existed longer than World War II. Because, whenever we think of Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D., we always think of exactly what Ward said, World War II, Red Skull, and
The
then
Nazis.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what Hydra was born out of. The fact that it's actually a secret organization that was tied more to, I guess, maybe Zodiac, I don't know. It's hard to say, but it's really interesting to see the Ram's head and then through the ages how that evolved into the Hydra symbol.
Yeah.
The Ram's head, as soon as we saw it, I was like, it's Zodiac, and I'm shouting it.
Yeah.
This episode, it didn't discount it entirely, but it did seem to it is good evidence against it.
Zodiac, yeah. I think it's just creating Hydra as just a nefarious organization, just giving it a longer life than it's had.
It's sort of an evil Masons at this point.
And
Yeah.
like S.H.I.E.L.D. has been around since before World War II. So with like Leonardo da Vinci and all of that kind of stuff.
In the books you're
Yeah.
referring to, yeah.
Are we talking about the Templars from Assassin's Creed?
Well, but
Basically,
I mean, yeah, kind of. But there is like this ancient
Wait a
organization.
minute. There are
that
way
became
more
S.H.I.E.L.D.
similarities now that I'm thinking about it than I approve of. And it's starting to make me angry, actually.
Hashtag it's all connected.
Hashtag it's all connected. Ezio is just a primordial Coulson. I get it. It all makes sense now. So we should probably pull back a little bit and talk about, since we were talking about the two of them, Malik and Ward in this episode. I've never enjoyed seeing two like equally menacing figures just kind of go back and forth, because Ward is menacing in a completely different way. He's a complete sociopath, and he's very hot-headed, and he's passionate about his revenge quest, and we see that, and he's totally cool with taking down a plane, since it just happens to be his only way to get to where he wants to go, torturing guys with blowtorches. But watching Malik, too, Malik, who is much older and is much more reserved and deliberate in everything he says and does, they're equally menacing, because you see the anger right on the surface with Ward, but whenever Malik talks, you get this kind of sense that something bigger is going on.
Well, Malik's the one who's been privy to this crazy centuries-long organization. So he's the guy. Ward is the guy who came in and is like, I can run this better. So he's just taking it over step by step. But then he learns there's this whole other level to it that he never began to know about, let alone understand.
It's like new Hydra versus old Hydra, just like we had the whole new S.H.I.E.L.D. versus old S.H.I.E.L.D.
Real
thing
S.H.I.E.L.D.
going on, real S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, yeah, it's totally
Right?
this.
So
This
now-
is real Hydra.
Can we call it Gap Hydra versus Real Hydra? I just want to remind everyone that when Ward reformed Hydra, they all looked like they were members of the Gap. Like Gap commercial. They all were wearing tight white tees and khakis and hanging out in abandoned warehouses.
It does, like, if one of them had been, like, like, a couple of them had removed their shirts to see, like, reveal six-packs, it would start to look like an Abercrombie shoot, right?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Or an old, like a 90s Chino commercial.
Yeah.
The Gap Chinos.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
But yeah, it is very much that Ward, despite being as smart as he is, and he is very intelligent, maybe he's not smart, but he's very intelligent, and despite having all of these plans, even he was not aware of kind of this ancientness to Hydra, and it appears that he's now towing the company line. It looks as though he's on board with Malik, and whatever Malik wants for the future of Hydra, it appears that Ward is on board and is the second head rising next to Malik.
And he gave him a new goal, which
Yeah.
I think Ward needed to push himself more as a villain. Like it seems to be getting easier and easier to get to S.H.I.E.L.D. and Coulson and that whole group. So I feel like he needed this to push him further and to give himself something new to strive for.
Yeah, totally.
It's huge.
I'm just a little, not concerned. Concerned is the wrong word, but I'm a little surprised that he's more willing to jump on board with Malik's stuff. I'm sure he has his own scheme and agenda, and I have no doubt that he's planning to stab Malik in the back the first chance he gets.
Sure.
But I'm a little bit surprised he's not more hesitant about dealing with alien technology, because it was alien technology and alien DNA that drove Garrett mad and eventually ended up leading to his destruction. So, like, seeing Ward having to take time to process all this alien information in regards to Hydra, that makes sense. But I would want to think that, given his history with it, that Ward would want to stay as far away as possible from alien tech, just given what happened to Garrett.
Well, if he's going to be the second in command, like in terms of control for this army that they're putting together, I think that's pretty enticing for him. I think he's going to set aside like the fact that it ruined Garrett and everything, and this is what he's been dreaming of and so much more.
I guess my big question is, like, what is Ward's end game? I'm still not
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
What is his endgame world domination? Because that doesn't seem like Ward. That doesn't seem.
No.
It's not convincing.
It's more personal. He's
Yeah.
all about the personal vendettas.
But so if he's setting aside his personal vendettas, and I don't know that he is, but if he is, what does he want?
I mean, I feel like Ward's endgame is to get Coulson to admit that he's the best agent he's ever had. Like,
He
it
just wants
seems-
his dad.
He
to
just
love
wants
him.
daddy's
I think it
approval.
is. I think that's why he's got such this like vendetta against S.H.I.E.L.D. and specifically against the team that he was on. Is like he wants them to admit that he was the best part of their unit, and then he'll light them on fire like he did with his family. Like,
Well, we know that.
He wants them to admit that they were wrong,
Yeah.
and then he can burn them in a fire.
yeah,
Makes sense.
Fire is forgiveness, folks.
The big
Cleansing. It's cleansing.
The short-term goal is cutting the head of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is getting rid of Coulson, obviously, and then
Yeah.
now I feel like this was the show's way of like setting up a goal for Ward now.
Yeah,
So
it definitely
I don't
gives
know.
him.
Yeah.
even though like it didn't come from him per se, like it came from Malik, I think like they gave us that answer in that form.
It definitely gives him a
Of
reason to
Malik's,
still be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like if Ward just was there to attack S.H.I.E.L.D., it's less interesting now that he's kind of got this role of.
It's like, all right, he's not
being-
being petty now. He's
Yeah.
he's actually going to put a team together.
But at the same time, he's still 100% a sociopath when it comes to getting his personal revenge, as we see with Andrew at the very end.
Yes.
Of course.
He's got a freaking smile on his face as he's using mustard gas against him to try to see, well, what'll turn you into Lash? This is great. Also, yeah, thank you. You have hurt Melinda in ways that I could never do that. That's
Yeah.
great. She's got a type.
Yeah, I hadn't until he said that. I was like, oh yeah, these are both Melinda's exes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second that he walked into the room, I was like, oh, this is awkward.
I will be pissed if this is what gets Andrew to turn and stay as Lash. Like this torture, I'd be so mad because I want the other team to have a chance to save him, and then like it would just upset me if Ward got to him first and like that was it for Andrew.
Well, this is
Mustard gas is a real extreme. Like
Yeah.
I would try laughing gas first or something. Like mustard gas is so
Wasn't it
extreme.
used in World War II for
was World War I.
terrible testing?
It was World War One. It was trench warfare. It melts your lungs.
Yeah.
Like it's not a good.
it's not
like,
just an
first
irritant.
step.
It's not
Yeah.
tear gas.
They didn't,
No.
and they didn't tell the soldiers they were testing them for, what was going to happen to them, and they tested it on them.
Mustard gas in general is just never a good thing. Don't put it on your hot dogs, folks.
It's not as delicious as it sounds.
No.
Yeah. This is, I guess, the one thing that has frustrated me, or that I'm not quite sure I'm on board with in the last 2 episodes, is the difference between Andrew and Lash.
Same here.
Yeah.
I don't, like, we've got enough Marvel characters where
It's
you
Dr. Jekyll,
rage
Mr.
out
Hyde, yeah.
and become a different person that you can't control herself. I would have liked more for Lash to be something that Andrew has felt for a long time.
A manifestation.
It's a manifestation. It's an
Yeah.
extreme version of that, but it is still what he believes. And I think that we may still get that. This scene between them, Andrew's side, I wasn't sure I didn't know what his perspective was at this time. And so it leaves me, I'm completely unsure how Lash will react to being a part of Hydra.
Yeah, that was kind of because he had that conversation with Malik, and when he had that conversation with Malik, it kind of seemed like Andrew might be on board with whatever Malik's intentions were. They were kind of agreeing on a lot of stuff. And Malik even said that they have a lot more in common than they do not.
Yeah, then they don't.
And I think I think there's just not a clear delineation between like who Lash is versus who Andrew is.
Yeah.
And are they the same person? Does Andrew remember everything he does when he's Lash? Does Andrew?
See, last week it seemed like he did, and he was cool with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But this
100%.
week
Which I'm way more on board with.
Same
is
here.
like Yeah, own your truth, Andrew. Like,
Yeah.
live your truth.
Man.
Whether it's
You gotta
being a
dance.
nice-
Sometimes you gotta dance, Andrew.
Are you telling him to go and follow his dream, even if his dream is to murder
He's
every
putting
human
holes.
he comes across?
Look, Andrew, you gotta do you.
Don't
You
follow
you
your
gotta.
dream. Don't follow your dream.
But like, we'll do us and stop you, but
Yeah.
you do you. You know?
You
Yeah.
do you. Will do
I do
us.
not support this right now. Just because I'm on camera with Zach doesn't mean I agree.
We're giving out great life lessons tonight. Don't open your heart. Don't follow your dreams.
Can we
It's
talk
just
about the other hearts that are?
I mean,
Yeah.
to be fair, Andrew was opening up other people's hearts. So
Boo. Well, before we get into all the broken hearts that are left strung across the floor this season, let's go ahead and talk about iTunes really quick.
Ooh.
Folks, thank you so much to everybody who's gone to iTunes to rate, leave a comment. We absolutely love hearing from you guys. When we get to read it, it's like the highlight of our week. And we know we have an international audience, and it warms our hearts. The fact that you guys comment on YouTube and you tweet at us, it really does mean the world to us that you guys are watching and paying attention to what we have to say. We're just a bunch of nerds geeking out about our show. So
Bunch of
yeah, thank
nerds.
you. And it's the best way to let the network know that you like the show that we're putting on is by being vocal. And we want to crush Scandal as well as a lot of other shows here at AfterBuzz.
We want to be the
Very
best. We
competitive.
are second. We are in second place in the most iTunes ratings.
Guys, don't hold back.
at AfterBuzz.
Don't hold
we
back.
want to
Guys,
be the
will-
very best like no one
Would
ever
we
was.
use- Would we use alien technology to get better than Scandal?
If we must.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
I feel like we need to discuss what the ramifications.
Yeah,
Just
what tech?
blind.
Is
we
this
would
like
use
technology
alien
that would
technology.
alter the iTunes numbers, or would this be technology to hurt other people?
Listen. I just wanted to.
Tomato, tomato.
Really technical right
All
now.
right, I want to get started on the shots because there's way too many.
There's a
to
lot of
get
Okay,
to.
let's get 'em rolling.
Like, oh my God, you guys! Like, I can't nearly get to everybody. But J Renee 424 says this podcast is great. Prodigal 358 says it's morping time. Joyce, I want to say I will never morp again, but I don't like lying. Watch out, Scandal, here we come. Andy Man 0531, the Avengers of AfterBuzz. This is by far the best Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. after show out there. Bossing La, thank you so much. Guarand my damn teed. I'm not sure. I apologize. It all makes sense now. It wouldn't be too surprising if the scandal is that Scandal is creating fake emails to pump themselves up. No, they have a huge fan base.
dun.
Like they've got a big fan base, but we still
We
believe
want to
ours
destroy
is
them.
better.
Ours is
Yeah.
better.
Fact.
Phil Coulson's left hand writes it again.
Yes.
I gotta read Phil.
What does he say now?
Phil Coulson's left hand says, "Mwah, Phil wants me back." When he was talking to Roz and she tied his tie, so romantic. But at the same time, Rosalind, don't be evil. He mentioned that he missed his hand. You guys, Phil wants me back. But am I ready to let this person back into my life again? I am my own hand.
Don't open your heart, hand.
I don't
Don't
need
open your
that
heart.
loser, but I really want him back. So I'm giving this question to you guys. Should I do it?
I just have to say that I'm picturing Coulson's hand in the glass case telling us this, like
Yes.
screaming at us.
I'm picturing him running around like
All right,
Like the thing.
Thistlethorn, thank you for your review. Chad Bad, Guppy66 is best podcast ever, way better than Scandal.
That's right.
It's starting to feel bad.
Okay, maybe we should
addi-
stop bringing that up when we do
No.
our ideas.
Addicted yet irritated says love the podcast. Escaped Soul 01 says awesome. Just found this podcast. I love this show and this panel is great. What SRG thinks this show has my approval. Bookworm 1495. This is by far one of my favorite AfterBuzz after shows. Jillybean 729. Thanks for being awesome. Visible Spark. Love this show.
Visible
there aren't a lot of
Spark's a
shows
good
I
name.
stay up for. Yours is one of them.
Thank you.
Also, when is Hunting Bird going to premiere? Would definitely watch that.
Yeah.
I don't. I have very mixed feelings about that. Tyree Jones. This podcast is an absolute absolute joy to listen to, and not just because of Joyce. Sorry, I added that last bit.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it. That one was sweet.
Spacey, favorite AfterBuzz. And lastly, Mama Little 7 writes
Mama
in
Little
best
7.
AfterBuzz out of all AfterBuzz TV shows.
Thank you.
You guys
I'm
are
sorry I
the
wasn't able to
best.
read everybody's. Do you see how long that took me just to read
Yeah.
names?
We have so many every week. We get tons
This
more.
was way more. This was nuts. I love you guys.
You guys, I may cry. You guys are the best. Thank you guys so much. So speaking of crying, let's move on to talk about the relationships.
I can't handle it.
They kissed. They finally kissed. Fitz and Simmons finally kissed.
Yeah, right after Simmons said that she loved not Fitz.
Well, she
Well.
didn't say she didn't love Fitz also.
Yeah, and I
Which
mean,
I
there
know
are-
she does.
There are lots of. I mean, there are different types of love. There's platonic love. There's loving somebody because you survived a horrible situation with them.
Sure.
That exactly what Fitz said. He gave her hope when she had none.
Yeah.
You know, they were there for each other. You can love somebody without being in love with
Yeah,
them.
I
But
just
didn't he
think-
ask her if she was in love with him?
Yeah.
And she said yes. And whenever I
She
hear the words
hesitated.
"in love"
She's-
together,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
still,
think of like romantic in
that's
love.
it's so unfair of Fitz to do that to her. It was such a mean move. Like she's so vulnerable right now. She just survived being out in the wilderness. Like to me it feels like he's taking advantage of her being in a vulnerable situation.
To
didn't-
ask
I
her that?
No, not to ask her that, but to kiss
lash
her.
out,
And like she barely like 2 weeks ago she's barely like able to walk around while cell phones are going on.
She did kiss him back.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's been building up in him. Like I don't think he wanted to have this moment
No.
like right now.
No.
I don't
But-
think he wanted it to lead up to what happened.
Well, the problem for him is that because of the series of unfortunate events that has
book
led
series.
them, yes,
Okay.
specifically because of Lemony Snicket, they can't be together.
Yeah.
So everybody needs to write to Lemony Snicket. No, but because of the series of unfortunate events that has transpired every time they've even come close to maybe talking about getting together, it's just never been the right time. And then when they're finally kind of maybe on the same page, ready to talk, then she is literally ripped to a completely different world.
Literal star-crossed lovers.
Yes, exactly. And you know, it's not fair to either of them.
Yeah.
Because they're meant to be together, because I don't know if they're meant to be together. They might be better off as brother and sister, but they never gotten the chance to see if they can be together or should be together.
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
it's something that people struggle with. I've seen it with my own friends. Like, I have friends that are, they were, like, floating around each other, like, oh, we'll be together, and we won't.
Same here, yeah.
And then somebody has a major life event that shifts it. And, like, in this case, real world, like, somebody in the family gets sick, and they have to go. And then you're just, like, right as things are building to a head, one person gets pulled out of the equation, and then when you get dropped back into it, you are still both in that place. The relationships that you formed are still there. And
Yes, but when someone comes back from a planet and is traumatized,
You
and
give them
is
their
clear-
space.
yes, you don't kiss them.
But-
You don't push love on someone who has just come back from war. You don't push love on someone who's just come back from being months on a planet.
I can't-
That's unfair of Fitz to do to Simmons. He's taking advantage of the fact that she is raw right now.
But also, he's been helping her silently. Like he's been helping.
Yeah, but
well,
being
not silently,
good
but
doesn't mean that he earns.
Yeah, there's technically,
I
'cause
can't be
there
mad
is
at
an-
both of them.
Yeah. There's an
Either of
argument
them.
that they're making Fitz a nice guy. For those of you who don't know, it's a quote unquote guy who is quote unquote nice to women and then resents them when they don't get love or affection in return.
I don't think that that's what Fitz is, though. And here's the thing.
No,
like,
but
I
there's an
will-
argument for it.
There is an argument for
But,
that, but I'm saying
again,
I
yeah.
disagree, because Fitz is doing this for his best friend, and
Yes.
he never expects anything in return. He kisses her, and that like maybe like you can disagree that that's like, or you can feel that that's like a bad decision, but it's not like
a horrible decision.
It's not like he like told her like you have to love me. They're in this impossible situation to deal with, and he's trying to reconcile his feelings as best that he can. And in this moment of confrontation, that like they're both encountering it, and this sounds really that like the heat between them is palpable.
Yeah.
But like it's true. She
like,
feels it too, and she's upset and angry too.
And he can see it. We can see it.
It's up to Fitz being the person who is not traumatized, who did not go there, to be the bigger person and walk away from that heat until she is readjusted. Like that's up to him. Like it's on him to be the person that's like, I feel this with her as well. But right now, she's in a vulnerable place, and, like, I shouldn't take advantage of it.
I don't know. I don't think it was him taking advantage. I think it was the heat of the moment. I think it was all that passion and emotion building up to that 1 second where he had to kiss her. Like, it just happened. And then I lost my train of thought.
It was a simple moment where he just acted without thinking, and it's such a small thing that he never.
But it's gonna have huge ramifications.
Yeah, but she could have stopped him. She did, and not that like, she is feeding the emotions of that conversation as much as he is, and I just it's in that snap decision. I feel like we can't like. You can debate like Monday morning quarterback style, like if it was a good decision or a bad decision. But I think that in the moment, like
it's an interesting play, Phil. Let's see how it plays out.
I think he just had to go with his instinct because there's no right playbook for something like this.
I was gonna say there's no right time at this time.
No, exactly,
to make this decision
because she's vulnerable right now.
Well, I mean, there's no right or wrong time.
The thing is, Jesse,
there's
is that
no other
I
time
think
they could do that.
In his own way, he was trying to be the bigger person, and that's why she was getting upset, because he was trying to be like, hey, I'm going to do everything I can to help you find this guy who helped you survive. And so he's trying to be the bigger person even though he's angry about the situation, and she's upset that he's not seemingly upset by it. And how can that they're not talking about it. There's a big old elephant in the room, and they're not talking about it, and that's what's making them both angry.
Yeah.
Is that it's both there, and they know it's there, but no one's going to acknowledge it.
And to help your point, it seems like they're writing Simmons as though she is not traumatized anymore. That she is not...
She's more focused.
Yeah, that she is not reeling from the fact that she was on a planet for months.
and let's not forget, like it's not that far out from Fitz being an equal level of traumatized.
Yeah, that's why neither of them are good for each other. They're both people who are traumatized and codependent.
Stephanie Joy sent us something on the hashtag. She sent us the GIF, "Stop blowing holes in my ship." Hashtag Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes, please.
You jumped through a hole in the universe for me.
Look, they've both told each other on different occasions that they like each other, that they care about each other in a romantic way. And I feel like what Fitz did is something that's been a long time coming, not in the best situation, not the best time, but there is no right or wrong time at this point because there's a lot of shit in the fan.
There's never going to be a good time.
So might as well.
And that's the thing, that line for me, I think, is what makes Fitz's actions, if not like good, okay, because she verbally said when she said you jumped through a hole in the universe for me, she's saying like, you are such an amazing person that loves me so much, and and in that moment, that line is so loaded because it's such it's such a statement of, I love you, I want to be with you, but I also want this other thing, and those two things cannot possibly exist together. Yeah. And I am faced with an impossible situation.
So what you do is you say, my best friend is going through a lot of issues right now. I should not force myself. I should not force my issue on her. I should let her deal with it and work it out. I will help her. I'll be supportive. I love her. I'm not going to force anything. She just survived being on a planet by
That would not make for good TV, Jesse.
No, it would not.
That would be the gentlemanly.
That's how you lose in the game of love.
That would be the gentlemanly thing to do.
You gotta
though.
make a move.
I understand.
Not
what you're
even
saying.
gentlemen. You just don't. You don't kiss someone who just got back from a traumatic thing. You don't force emotion on someone who is traumatized.
I don't think it was forced.
I don't think I think he's acknowledging the emotions
There's no way that there aren't ramifications from kissing her.
Oh, absolutely.
There are going to be, but guys, sadly, we've gotten to the point where we're talking in circles.
Yes.
So we need to move on to the next heartbreaking thing.
Oh, Phil and Roz.
Phil and Roz.
I
Stripping.
Stipping. I haven't heard that term in a long time.
That is a unique way of putting it. But yeah, it's so funny because we have this confrontation between Phil and Mac. Easy Mac.
Easy Mac,
as it were. I hate myself right now.
It's mac and cheese.
Yeah, it's mac and cheese.
Hate myself. Anyway, so we had this confrontation where Mac is like, you are being compromised because she's playing you. And then Coulson has this meeting where he basically goes, no, I'm not.
I love how we were talking about it. He could have just told Mac
Coulson was such a
the
jerk
meeting.
there. He was like, by the way, this meeting's going to be about how that's not
I'm
going
to answer your question right now, Mac.
He could say that, but instead he decides to do it in front of all of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I think he just wanted to see the look on Mac's face.
Which was good.
Or I'll bet you Phil had that speech and rehearsed it in front of the mirror.
Oh,
And he's
man.
like, I could tell you, but I've already got this great speech
got some
I have
planned.
the delivery.
If I tell you, I'm gonna step on it. It's gonna mess me up. I gotta just wait 5 minutes and then we'll talk again.
Phil rehearses a lot more than we do.
Oh yeah.
But so before we get back to Phil and Roz, I do want to touch on the fact that May and Lincoln had a very touching moment too.
Yeah.
Because the entire episode he's terrified of her because she won't speak to him, and it's only when we get this moment with the two of them in the jet where she goes, I've been trying to figure out what to say. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
The only problem I had with that was why is the new guy on the extraction team? He's not even it's not like he was in the military before. He was a doctor.
They don't.
And they have him,
he should be a medic.
he's got lightning powers, but how does that help him extract anything?
Shouldn't he be in the lab? Or
He didn't pick to do that today. He didn't choose to go on that mission.
That's true. He did look a little like a deer in the headlights
But
for
it
a
was
second.
good because, like
It
Daisy
did get that
said,
moment.
Coulson doesn't just let people stay
Yeah.
on the ship. You have to pull your weight to stay and earn your place. So he was forced to do that today, which is fine.
He's like, I haven't even been given the tour yet.
It's I don't know what extraction means.
Although he actually had an almost happy couple moment with Daisy. She's like, we're not going to talk about that kiss, but we'll see what happens.
Stop playing people.
That was probably the most optimistic relationship thing in
This entire thing.
episode.
Pretty much.
It was just that little flirty bit.
Still Hunter and
Hunter
Bobby.
and Bobby.
Yeah.
They were hilarious.
They're the best.
Hunting Bird is still doing great.
They're
Bird is
doing fine.
Almost like they're
solid.
prepping to go off on their own adventures or something.
What do you know?
It's like it's like what they mostly want out of their marvelous relationship.
That is
marvelous.
interesting ways
True.
of phrasing it. Anyway, so to get back to Phil and Roz, their dialogue, even now, when you think you know which side each of them is on and who's playing who, their dialogue, their tete-a-tetes are just fabulous to watch. And I almost wish we could see what it's like in the writer's room when they're writing down these back and forths, and when she turns to him and says things like dearest.
Yeah.
Are you hacking me?
Well, yes, of course.
TJ Ford in the chat makes a great. Lincoln doesn't have a lanyard. And neither does Roz.
Yeah.
Come on, Koenig, get on.
Why weren't you
Stop
here?
playing video games.
call your sister and then get him a lanyard.
It's on his list of things to do on the sticky note.
I'm so excited if Patton Oswalt comes back.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
me too.
Back
Please
so
come
bad.
back.
He'll be great.
Please come back.
Where was he in that random collection of S.H.I.E.L.D. interns?
Number one, who was it who was mean to an intern? It was Fitz was being mean to an intern. And we saw
Idiot. Well-meaning idiot.
Also, Coulson had a really good quote with the only spies without trust issues are either young or dead.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so like I really like how that kind of just shows his mentality. Like, of course he's gonna try and hack the ATCU. He's a spy, like, and he's dating a spy. Like, he's gotta go into her background, because we learn later that maybe Roz isn't Hydra, but very easily she could have been.
Yeah, let's go ahead and pose that to the table. Do we think that her being unaware of, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, but do we think that her being unaware of Malik's intentions is legit and on the level, or do we think she's just playing a new hand?
I think it's legit, but I can't see past that. Like, I can't see how she could benefit S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, she has a lot of intel now. Like, she could be the good, middleman, I guess, between, like, she could play both sides, and it'll definitely benefit S.H.I.E.L.D., and that'll help S.H.I.E.L.D. sort of take down parts of Hydra because of her.
Yeah, I have to think she's their key to Malik.
Yeah.
She also has a lot of knowledge of space. They might need that. And maybe they form a branch that she could be in charge of.
2 equal parts.
One attack, one, offensive, defensive. What are the
We've
words
made
for
this
those?
joke
So many times.
Yeah.
I think it's more interesting if she's Hydra and she's plain, and just because, like, that, her not knowing what goes on that floor seems really convenient. Like, it seems really, like, for someone
That's
like
fair.
Roz, who seems to be in control of everything
Who
and aware
digs
of everything,
into everything
and,
and
is digging into
everyone.
everything. It seems really convenient that she didn't know what was going on that floor. By the way, what was going on that floor was really screwed up.
Messed up.
That just bin full of arms and legs of people who didn't take survive the fish oil. Like, that was screwed up.
You know what I thought was weird, though? Like, when Bobby and Hunter came through and they got the IT guy to confess that, like, oh, they had one thing come through the doors, but it wasn't there.
Yeah.
So how would they know that it came through the doors if it never came through the door? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One thing.
As soon as I said it, it was from Broken Cocoons.
Yeah, it was Broken
not,
Cocoons. Because
no
the
metal.
fish oil, wouldn't have had the metal to
Wouldn't have
kill
had the
anyone.
pterogenesis
Yeah.
effect.
So it's like it's
Still screwed up.
Yeah, I mean, it's still screwed up to not. Basically, you're like,
You're
I'm gonna completely
experimenting on
change your
people.
life forever at a random chance.
Yeah.
So
And
good luck.
You might turn into a big hedgehog person. You might turn into a door. You might turn into a regular person that melts things. It's just a roll of the dice. We're gonna wait and see.
Joyce, I don't have a good answer for that. That's a big hole. Is that the way they were able to hack into the ATCU is that they were using the pod that they were keeping Andrew in to hack the network inside the ATCU, but Andrew was not in that building.
I think the idea was they took it there because they delivered it there.
Yeah.
And then they just shipped it.
Somewhere else.
They shipped it somewhere
because
else.
Coulson delivered it there, so it was inside the building.
Yeah.
At one
It just
point
then
for-
got shipped
But
elsewhere.
a very brief
they
moment
showed
of-
the pod like the
Activating,
panel on it
yeah.
activating it when it
Yeah.
was not there.
I think the idea is they moved it after, like, in that
Somewhere.
time.
Like,
there.
it was built to dupe.
Yeah. Built to do.
I'm not going to
Also-
pretend like I understand the techno babble that they use to infiltrate the ATCU.
On their very secretive screen that comes up and says homing beacon activated, just in case anyone's walking by and is wondering.
Just a janitor like,
See?
should I tell anyone or I'll keep doing this.
But
Hell,
that's
Hydra.
terrifying, though, that they're shipping all of their inhuman captives somewhere, and all of
Yeah.
the people that they're forcing to take these fish oil pills. And
Yeah.
That's very unsettling.
I really liked Hunter's nerd costume.
Oh my god,
Like
he
what?
was so funny.
What was it? Damn
the Yanks.
Damn the Yanks, yeah.
And just like aggressively British towards the American
cup of
government.
tea.
Yeah. It's
God
like,
save the
you're-
queen.
A fan of red coats.
yeah,
Thank you.
you're a Red Sox fan? No, Red Coats.
Oh Lord.
That was that was really fun. It was cool seeing that thing with Daisy in his ear and him like reciting that. That was a really awesome
I was waiting
kind of
for him to
sequence.
mess up,
Yeah.
like in Hunter, like mess up accidentally in Hunter fashion.
Like if she's saying like
Blows cover.
like type in like / that he actually writes the words
Forward slash.
or something like
I just love
that.
how slow his typing
Yeah.
was.
I'm a hacker. I'm hacking the net, the mainframe. That's what I'm doing. But I did love this whole sequence because it's just good old-fashioned espionage fun. And for how high the stakes are and for how dark and serious S.H.I.E.L.D. can get, it's still nice to have those fun espionage moments. It's that where it's like, yeah, this is serious and dark, but at the same time, it's still really fun. It's a fun ride.
Yeah, it's what makes the show compelling. Even the stuff with Ward, like when he was on the airplane and he was like flirting with the what are we calling them now?
Flight attendants?
Flight attendants? Is it just flight attendants?
I think it's flight attendant.
Okay. Flight attendants, when he was flirting with her, like that was a fun, like cheeky, like Ward's a cheeky bad guy, like it was fun.
He winks at her as he's
I
putting
didn't-
on his parachute.
She was giving it to him.
I
too.
didn't hate Ward in
wanted
this
to bite off a
episode. I
piece.
enjoyed him. Yeah.
So-
We also learned that Roz has a fantasy football team.
Of course she does. She had that crazy bat.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of backgrounds, I mean, I don't know if this was ever stated before, but it's the first time I learned that Coulson was just a history major that decided
Yeah.
to dig a
That
little
was
bit
cool.
and just got recruited, and now he's the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, totally unsuspecting.
And it's totally a perfect analogy. It's very similar to the 616 version of Coulson that they introduced.
Yeah.
Who got into S.H.I.E.L.D. by becoming an expert in everything superhuman.
Yeah.
Like he just studies like every suit in the comics. It's great because he becomes this guy who just has studied every super like person in the world,
phenomenon that's ever happened.
knows their powers, knows which situations they'd be great at, and like that's how he climbs the ranks of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And so it makes sense.
He's just a super nerd. That's Coulson's superpoper, is that he is
He's just
extremely nerdy.
He's just a big fan.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
a big fan.
He's one of us. He wouldn't enjoy what's about to come up though.
No.
No.
I think it might be time for the surprise.
Let's talk about news and gossip and predictions, and then we'll talk about our surprise. So news and gossip,
AfterBuzz
TV news. So for those of you who watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This evening, we were all treated to a little promo for Agent Carter.
So excited.
And Carter goes to Hollywood, and it was so good to see Peggy Carter in action again. Even if it was just for a minute, it was such a great promo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved that show so much last year. I'm super excited to see it back.
Same.
See it in Hollywood.
Ooh, that'll
See-
be so fun.
You're gonna have to dust your hat off, Zach.
Yeah.
Well,
Get that
but
fedora
they
out.
don't. Like, they're in the 50s now. There's a lot. Like I
You're
looked
gonna
at
have
the
to wear a
trailer,
pillbox.
There's no fedoras anywhere. I was like,
better-
am I gonna have to get that big swooshy red thing
We're
that
gonna
she was
have to-
wearing? I don't think I can pull it off.
We're gonna have to all wear poodle skirts.
Fine by me. I'm okay with it. Red lipstick and poodle skirts.
I'm all for it. Let's do
do
it.
Oh man.
So that's basically all we have for
Yeah,
news, I
January
wanna say.
5th, and it'll just continue on when this show leaves off after the holiday break.
Yeah.
And then we'll be back with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in March.
Yeah.
We're not
gosh.
going away right away, guys. We're
No.
off next week. We're back December 1 for the last, I think, 2 or 3 more episodes.
Before the
Yeah.
mid-season finale.
I
Yeah.
always forget that S.H.I.E.L.D. takes pretty long breaks.
Yeah,
and it
this
kind of
is-
hits me like a brick wall. I'm like, what?
This
Yeah.
break is just like a quick nap, and then we're gonna be back.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Before
be
you know it.
recharged.
Take a quick nap. We'll dream about the 50s for a while. and
and then we're gonna be back in action.
Wake
Yeah.
up, be good to go.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a ton of fun, and I can't wait to see what they have in store for season 2. Let's go ahead and move into predictions now.
And now, for AfterBuzz TV
I want to throw out my first prediction, and something that chat roll has been yelling at us for a little bit. The tiny monolith.
Oh,
Yes.
The
That
weird
teeny
tiny monolith that they
monolith.
like. That's what these holes
yeah,
in the
the
monolith
chunks
are.
in it.
Is they
Yeah,
managed
that's what I
to take
wrote.
out
Those were
chunks
the
of it.
missing
Yeah.
pieces.
So I think it's going like they're gonna have to find that one, and there's going to become a hunt for the other
The other
ones.
ones.
There
Yeah.
might be 12 different holes. We have to go back and count now.
Yeah.
That might have been taken out and
I-
handed out to people. Maybe
You
they were
stole
branded.
my prediction.
One with a ram and one with a like whatever a Libra is.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there might be a reveal that Coulson has a piece of the monolith already.
Maybe.
In his arm.
Yeah, in
In his
arm.
robot arm.
His robot arm turns to liquid every once in a while. It's useless.
We actually had a fan comment last week on our YouTube comments that, and I apologize, I don't recall who exactly it was, but somebody recalled like, hey guys, we're talking about how Joey has the power to melt things and then build them again.
Yeah.
And most of the
Ooh.
monolith is dust. Well, all you have to do is melt these things together and then reconstruct the monolith, and then boom.
Cool to see
He
more
hasn't really
Joey
been in the
action.
picture for a while, so this could be his like big moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
It's just a question of whether or not he can do this with any and all minerals if he puts his mind to it, or if it's strictly metal, because we don't know if the monolith is metal per se. We know it's
Yeah.
just alien properties and stuff. It's weird.
Yeah.
So that's a thought, though. I very much appreciated that they pointed that out as a possibility.
Yeah.
I also predict that in
Uh-oh.
in just a few days, Jesse and I are going to be talking about this fancy book and the show that's coming off of it.
Yeah, Jessica Jones.
Jessica
Yeah.
Jones. We're going to be recapping it a little sporadically. It's not going to be a weekly show. It's going to be a couple times a week.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little over late. But the first one you can check out before we get into our surprise is going to be this
Monday.
coming Monday. The show premieres on Friday. We're going to be talking about it Monday at either 3 or 4 p.m. So check AfterBuzz. You'll see the times. And
It's
then
gonna be us,
another episode.
Mark Donica.
Yeah, Mark Donica, who we did Daredevil with,
Yeah.
and Emma Fife,
Emma
another
Fife.
fellow
Oh,
AfterBuzz
cool.
host.
Yeah.
You guys are going to
Jessica
have a
Jones.
hoot. You guys are going to have a hoot.
Is it time?
Do we have any final thoughts, final predictions?
Well, I mean, I was thinking the same thing that you mentioned, Zach, and also, I mean, Ward is going to target, I think, Gemma and Fitz specifically because they know how to open up the portal.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, he's probably going to get to them, but bait Coulson that way and then try to take Coulson out.
yeah,
yeah.
it looks like the next episode is just the quote-unquote
fight against
war with
Ward.
Ward
I
coming
have-
to a head.
I have a feeling that there's
Yeah.
going to be a lot of just strain and angst in all the love worlds because, like, it's just going to be like Andrew and May have this weird strain and angst. Now we've got Fitz and Simmons, and now also Coulson and Roz. Like, he did full on just go into her background.
He did
Yeah.
rip her apart.
Yeah.
It was
Pretty much.
unkind, but at the same
Yeah.
time, he was going, and we're still operating under the assumption that she's innocent, which may not necessarily be the case.
May not be true.
So, if that does it for our predictions, then we do have a treat for you guys. Our fan.
Strong word.
Well, it's something. Maybe not a treat, and this is what I was talking
Well,
about
let them be
earlier
the
with-
judge of that.
I was not here
Rehearsals.
last week. I just want to say I was not here.
You were not privy to this,
Yeah.
but we had a fan
Yeah, Skyward-OTP on Tumblr.
wrote us a little song that we
To
would
the lyrics.
to the lyrics of "I Will Survive" that we would like to perform for you right now.
Those of you watching along will see the characters that we're portraying
Yep.
as we hold them up.
So,
Tonight on AfterBuzz Theater.
All right.
This is amazing.
So,
Let's,
Maestro,
let's
if you please.
roll.
Again, we haven't rehearsed, so we
Roll tape and Raven,
apologize.
you can
Also,
put
we've
it
been
full screen.
we've been talking for an hour
so
and 20
this is
minutes.
a treat to us. So you decide if our voices are a treat to you.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Oh, God.
Sweet. Afraid I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. I spent all those nights thinking how I did you wrong. But now I grew strong. I learned how to get along.
And now you're back from outer space. Walked in again.
walk out the door. Just turn around now.
Think I can't do this anymore. Weren't you the one who left me when I needed you the most?
Did you think I'd crumble?
Did you think I'd lay down and die?
Oh, no, I will survive.
Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive.
I've got all my life to live,
I've got all my love to give.
and I'll survive. I will survive. Hey.
This is insane.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for your ears.
Here comes Ward.
Here comes our man Ward on the ones and twos.
It took all the strength I built not to fall apart. Wanted to try and mend the pieces of your broken heart. And I spent so many nights feeling sorry for myself, wanted to die. But now I hold my head up high.
And you see me, somebody new. I'm not that wide-eyed little girl who's still in love with you. And you so felt like dropping in and just to expect me to believe. But now I'm saving all my loving for someone who's loving me.
Lincoln.
So walk out the door, just turn around now.
I just can't do this anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to shoot me, said goodbye?
So you think I'd crumble?
Did you think I'd lay down and die?
Oh, no,
not
I.
I will survive.
Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive.
I've got all my life to live.
I've got all my love to give.
I will survive.
I will survive.
Go on now. Walk out the door.
Just turn around now.
Cause none of you are welcome anymore.
Weren't you the one who tried to hurt me with your lies?
Did you think I'd crumble?
Did you think I'd lay down and die?
Oh, no, I will survive.
Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive.
I've got all my life to live,
I've got all my love to give,
and I'll survive. I will survive. I will survive.
We're
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to all of you.
You've got a week break, so your ears can
The chat roll
recover.
is saying, "Oh my God, Ultron hacked AfterBuzz. It's beautiful. This is awful." Passes out Rotten Tomatoes.
We deserve all of that. We deserve all of that.
Oh, some people said I could sing. That is the
Goes
first
on.
time I've
You
ever
can. Well done, everybody. And we apologize to all you fans who stuck
Someone,
around.
someone passed the ear bleach.
Yeah, that was a
my
fact.
goodness.
That happened. Anyway,
What
guys.
is this show?
God, I do hope that someone's never seen the show before, and they logged on just for that part of it.
So Jelly Bean.
Thank you, guys.
You.
Thank you
so much.
Raymond, our fantastic engineer, for putting up with us.
Yes,
So
for-
funny.
with our
Staying
crazy
late for us
requests.
to do that.
And if you
Ooh.
want us to not sing anymore, send us a great iTunes review and send us fan art, guys. Fan art is harmless.
Fan art will be like a big X over our faces.
just our vocal
Our
cords.
vocal cords.
Send us fan art from now
Oh
on
my
so that we don't do
God.
things like this anymore. But guys, and we promise you that if we reach our goal of getting to iTunes, we will never sing for you again.
Oh my God, that is a promise
can't.
I can keep.
I'm embarrassed.
Now we're holding
all right.
We're
All
holding
right,
our
let's
fans
wrap it up.
hostage.
Let's wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Jesse Klein, where can people go if they want to keep up with you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at JessKlein1, and you can see me doing comedy here in Los Angeles with my sketch teams, Haymaker and DJ Fawcett.
You guys can follow me on Twitter at @ZachWilson, and make sure to tune in next week for Jessica Jones.
Oh yeah, Jessica Jones.
You guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Joyce Ajouri. I just Snapchatted some footage of us singing. It's pretty funny. If you want to relive that.
least it won't
You can
whisper.
also
No one
find
does.
me
Burn
on Sunday night's
Snapchat.
podcast for The Walking Dead.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And guys, I'm Megan Salinas. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. I am also on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz, including Ash vs. Evil Dead on Sunday nights, which I got in a lot of trouble for saying that it was my second favorite show at the moment, behind Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So guys, don't make me regret that.
Just saying.
Don't make me regret that, because Ash vs. Evil Dead fans are very passionate. Anywho, I also write articles for The Movie Chick. Be sure to check those out. Thank you so much to everybody who bared with us through this episode. Everybody on the hashtag, everybody on the live chat. We will see you all next time.
Bye. Sorry for my voice.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Bye. See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.